Hello and thank you for watching the Safety Moment event for winter 2020. I'm Oliver Wright, the Operations Director for Ganymede, and I'll be joined by Gary LeBou, the Head of HSEQ for Ganymede. Now, this Safety Moment is going to be brought to you slightly different. We'd normally like to be out and about on various sites, going through our messages. However, on this occasion, we're going to be doing it virtually due to the restrictions around COVID-19. The video message will be around about 10 to 15 minutes long, and I appreciate your time watching. Okay, the first slide that we're going to run through is our accidents and incidents. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, we've changed the way in which we operate and the way in which we supply to the rail network, meaning that there's fewer of you in vehicles and that we have an increased number of vehicles out on site. We've been asking you to consider social distancing, to use hand sanitizer, and obviously following more and more COVID restrictions. And there's been a real focus on COVID over the last 7 months, and rightly so. And we'd like to thank you for adhering to all the regulations and the new processes and procedures that have been put in place. Now, as an industry and as a company, we've seen an increase in accidents over the period since COVID's come about. And what we're asking you to do is take a step back and focus on the operational task and environmental risks. We need to make sure that we're following the safe system of work requirements, including maintaining safe distance and clearance from train movements and live electrification, and importantly, speaking up if you feel that you're put in a position where it's unsafe to work. This brings us to our next slide, which is on the reporting of accidents. I need to ask you to make sure that all accidents and incidents and near misses are reported immediately. We have a 24-hour on-call number. It's on the top of all the timesheets. If it's not already saved in your mobile phone, please do so and ensure that all accidents and incidents and near misses are reported straight away. We must be informed it's in line with the Sentinel scheme requirements, and you agreed to do so within your sponsorship agreement. I'm now going to hand over to Gary LeBou, who'll be discussing fatigue, our Speak Up campaign, and running through some new changes to the various rule books in which you adhere to.
Hello, I'm Gary LeBou, Head of HSEQ for Ganymede. Just like to thank Oliver for handing over to me. And I'm going to just discuss a couple of topics with you, important topics that we need to discuss with you on a regular basis. Now, fatigue is the first thing I want to talk to you about, and it is one of the biggest risks to everybody, not just this industry. It's everyone suffers with fatigue one way or another. But we are going to address it at Ganymede, and we are working on a fatigue education programme, which will be rolled out to everybody. That's internal members of staff and also you, our workforce. But what I want to make you aware of is stress can sometimes lead to fatigue. And we're all going through a period at the moment, a lot of uncertainty due to the COVID restrictions that are in place. But what I want you to do is share your feelings. If you have got any problems with fatigue or stress or anything like that, the best thing to do is speak up or speak to somebody close to you, or maybe call us, and we'll always be here to listen and to help you as well. The big thing is, though, a bit of advice is to stay active. That can manage your stress, which will help fatigue as well. Okay, so take that time out, get some exercise, have a walk and that. And just remember, just watch what you eat and drink, okay, because it can affect your stress levels and also fatigue. Okay then, my second little talk to you is about our Speak Up campaign. This was launched in the early part of this year, and we're continuing to promote it, and it's been quite successful as well. Our Speak Up campaign is aimed to ensure you know that we support you to speak up and challenge unsafe acts and conditions and behaviours in all situations when carrying out your duties. And it is important that you tell us you need to speak up. We've set the objectives, and they are through catchy slogans and images, what you can see on the presentation. And I just want to touch on each one, just to make you aware and make your understanding of these. They're not rules, they're not regulations, they're just I don't know, just what's expected of you when carrying out your duties. So first of all, the work safe procedure. This is not just Ganymede, this is Network Rail, it's industry-wide for everybody to follow. And we ask you to speak up. You know, if you are asked to carry out any unsafe acts or work in any unsafe conditions, then speak up, invoke the work safe procedure. When on track then, always wear the correct PPE. It's so important to your health and well-being. You know the standard PPE that you should be wearing. Any specialist jobs, if you're unsure about what PPE you should be wearing, speak up and ask the PIC. Take time out then. This is really important. You know, risk assess what's around you, the environment, the tasks that you're actually going to be carrying out. Not just while you're doing the work, but before you start. As soon as you step out of that vehicle, there is hazards about. And even after work, when you're walking back to your vehicle, again, you know, you could be at your most vulnerable. So please speak up if you are concerned. It's only a few seconds we ask you to do that little risk assessment of what's around you. Fit for duty. Okay, it's mostly important that you turn up to carry out your work and you are fit and well and able to carry out the duties that you've been asked to do. So remember, if you're not too well, you're feeling fatigued, or any other reason, then speak up. Let your team leader or your PIC know. It's okay not to be okay. You know, we talked about, you know, feeling a bit low in my previous slide. And there's times when we all feel, and we all have a problem, you know, but share it with your colleagues. You know, Ganymede do have mental health first aiders and they're available for you to contact. And we also have links with Samaritans and they can be contactable 24 hours a day. And the number is on there, 116 123. So remember to speak up if you have any problems. Don't always follow the leader. It's easy done. Following the PIC, he knows best or she knows best, but they don't always. They can be engrossed in what they're doing and the work that they're in charge in and may expect you to do something that you're probably not trained for. Some people like to oblige that and do it. Best practice. But please, if you've got any doubts that something's not right, you think it's not safe, then speak up. Close call it. Don't ignore it, close call it. That is our slogan. That's how we promote close calls. And Oliver will be talking about this a little bit later in the presentation. But what we want you to do then, any unsafe acts that you see, you witness, or any unsafe conditions that you come up against, please tell us, speak up, and close call it. And my last one then is quite important. We're going back to fatigue and don't drive tired. So if you're one of our drivers or any driver, whether you're driving a Ganymede vehicle, your own vehicle or anything like that in general, if you start feeling the effects of fatigue whilst you're driving and you're feeling tired, then it's important that you pull over wherever it's safe to do so and inform us immediately. Okay, so remember then, like I said at the beginning, these aren't rules, they're not regulations. They really are things that you should be considering at all time, which should come natural to you. And the only thing is to remember is if you're not happy, if something isn't right, then you must speak up. So, significant rulebook changes. As you're all aware then, the rulebook is constantly reviewed and any changes implemented are carried out in June and December of every year. We would like to inform you of significant changes that come into force in December of this year that will be included in Handbook 6, which is the general duties of an individual working alone. Handbook 7, the general duties of a controller of site safety, that's key costs. And Handbook 12, duties of the engineering supervisor. First of all, on this slide, I just want to touch on Handbook 6 and 7. Okay, and this is where a new section has been introduced as a result of a new crossing the line procedure. This is for an hour or a cost to use if wishing to cross a running line or lines, that's up to 4 lines, or pass a line that has a limited clearance. Okay, so it is a new procedure. It's something that a COS or an IWA must set up with the signaller. It has to be pre-planned and your name entered and booked with the signaller, and it's him who you liaise with to cross the actual line or lines concerned. Also, there is an introduction of a protection zone, and this is going to be another method of blocking the line, which allows an IWA or a COS with a group, a site of work within the protection zone. This protection zone is set up between the AES and the signaller, so the arrangements you have to make will be with the engineering supervisor. So I'll cover it a little bit more on the next slide. Okay then, Handbook 12 then, duties of the engineering supervisor. Well, first of all, rules have been changed to allow the ES to give up a work site while an engineering train or on-track machine is still in that work site, but at the agreed point or signal where it has been planned. Handbook 12 then also contains a new rule. So this is a section 11 in the handbook, which describes how an ES can set up a protection zone, which I mentioned earlier, and this is an alternative to a possession, but with a different protection measure. It is between the ES and the signaller, because there's no possession involved, so it has to be pre-arranged and published. This can be used then where no more than one engineering train and one on-track machine are required to carry out works. And it's normally specialist works, you know, things like the high output trains. A briefing then will be issued regarding the rulebook changes, and you can access the relevant handbooks from the Safety and Wellbeing Hub on the Ganymede website. So I advise you to go on to the website, download the handbooks, whichever one that you require, and familiarise yourself with the duties that you will need to carry out from December, early December. Okay, well, that's all from me. I'm going to pass you over now to Oliver to continue our presentation. But again, remember from me, safety first, safety always.
Thank you for running through those slides, Gary. This brings us to the Close Call Award. For those that aren't aware, we award a close call every quarter, which is aimed at the close call that makes a difference to prevent accident or injury to an individual. This quarter it's gone to Graham Williams, the team leader from Wales. Graham was working up at Shrewsbury, noticed a track trolley was overloaded with equipment, making it unsafe. He did the right thing, made 2 journeys. So thank you for doing that, Graham. We hope that you put your £150 voucher to good use. For those that are new and those that need reminding, we issue a £150 gift voucher for the close call that makes a difference. Okay, and for another chance to win £150, we're asking you to complete our online workforce survey. These surveys are important because they develop our health and safety and wellbeing aspects of the business. And most importantly, we value your feedback. So please go online. Answers are anonymous, so please answer honestly. A link will be sent out in due course. Okay, and that brings us to the end of our safety moment for the winter period. Myself and Gary, thank you for your time and efforts during the last 7 months and before. And remember, safety first, safety always, and speak up to make a difference. Thank you for your time.